Good day. The state television company of Western Armenia presents all the most important events of these days. Today's broadcast. The 20th session of National Assembly of Republic of Western Armenia was held. The head of the Artsakh Diocese took part in cultural event Armenian Culture Heritage in Artsakh held in Salzburg. Starting from Baku, all the territories of present-day Azerbaijan have been Armenian-populated and Armenian. Academician Ashot Melkonyan, the Minister of Defense of Azerbaijan, continues to spread disinformation. Blinken discussed with Aliyev the issue of release of Armenian captives of war. About 30 Armenians were killed during the war in Ukraine. The city of al-Khaimah in the Emirates were founded by Armenians. The start of the events dedicated to the 800th anniversary of Khoranashat monastery complex was held by the opening of the exhibition. On May 11, 2022, the 20th session of National Assembly of Republic of Western Armenia was held, in which 15 deputies took part. The agenda issues related to the work of internal regulation of National Assembly of Western Armenia were mainly discussed, and the current issues of the meeting of the 7th convocation on May 28 were discussed too. NA Speaker Nelly Harutyunyan invited the deputies to compose cover letter for sending the resolutions and bills adopted by the NA to parliaments of other countries and posting them on our website. MP Pablo Talanyan has drafted a letter to be sent to the parliaments of other countries in connection with the founding day of National Assembly of Western Armenia on May 24th. It was decided to postpone the adaptation of the letter to the next meeting after the final additions. At the end of the meeting, as always, the agenda of the next meeting was drawn up. The Primate of Artsakh Diocese, His Grace Bishop Vartanes Abrahamian, took part in Culture in Conflict Armenian Cultural Heritage in Artsakh, held at the University of Salzburg. During the event, issues related to the preservation of historical and cultural heritage of Artsakh were discussed. The leader of Artsakh Diocese made a speech in which he presented numerous temples, churches and monuments that remained under the control of Azerbaijan as a result of the last Artsakh war, expressing concern that their fate is under threat. The event was attended by Director of Office for the Spiritual and Cultural Heritage of Artsakh of the Mother See of Holy Echmiadzin, Varthapet Garegin Hampartsumyan, Archbishop of Salzburg Franz Luker, and other representatives of the clergy. The statements of Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev about the territories of Armenia are outright lies and manipulation. This was stated by the Director of Institute of History of National Academy of Sciences of the Republic of Armenia, Doctor of Historical Sciences Academician Ashot Melkonyan. According to the historian, the territory of modern Republic of Azerbaijan has nothing in common with the historical Aterpatakan, the northern regions of Iran, from which the Turks simply stole the name when creating their artificial state in 1918. So, starting from capital of Azerbaijan, Baku, the territories of provinces of Aterpatakan, Shaki, Shirvan, Western Armenia, Utik of Great Armenia, Artsakh, Paytakaran, all were Armenian-populated and Armenian. We are talking about any Turkish element before the 11th century simply ridiculous, Ashot Melkonyan stressed. Special Turks appeared in the region only in 9th century when the Arabs hired Turkish mercenaries, including, for example, the famous General Bugan, who invaded the regions of Armenia in the mid-9th century and suffered a heavy defeat, especially in Artsakh, in the Katish fortress, from Yesai Abu Musa, the specialist added. The Ministry of Defense of Azerbaijan, continuing to spread misinformation about the situation on the border, issued a statement in which it notes that as if on the evening on May 11th, units of Array Armed Forces opened fire on Azerbaijani combat positions located on the eastern section of Armenia-Azerbaijani border. This is reported by the Ministry of Defense of Armenia, refuting another Azerbaijan disinformation. This information does not correspond to reality. The situation on the Armenia-Azerbaijani border is relatively stable and is under full control of Armenian armed forces, the statement reads. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken held a telephone conversation with Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev to discuss the progress of negotiations between Armenia and Azerbaijan. He wrote about this on his Twitter page. Today I spoke with Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev about how the United States can continue to support the positive dynamics of the recent peace talks between Azerbaijan and Armenia. He wrote, the State Department issued a message about the telephone conversation, noting that the parties also discussed the upcoming clear steps aimed at establishing peace in the South Caucasus, including the delimitation and demarcation of borders, the opening of transport and communication routes, and the release of remaining Armenian captives of war. Secretary Blinken confirmed that the United States is ready to assist interacting on a bilateral basis, as well as with like-minded partners, including in the role of the OSCE Minsk Group co-chairs, to help countries find a long-term comprehensive peace, the State Department said in a statement. According to J news sources, about 30 Armenian citizens, most of whom were civilians, were killed during the war in Ukraine. It should be noted that according to unofficial data of Union of Armenians of Ukraine, about 400,000 Armenians live in Ukraine. Despite the fact that there is a war now, many Ukrainian Armenians have not left the country and are trying in every way to help. As of the 76th day of the war, the Armenian community of Ukraine, according to its representatives, collected more than 500 tons of humanitarian aid, uniforms, technical and vehicles, not counting the assistance of regional Armenian communities. Large-scale assistance to Ukraine is provided by individual regional communities. Chairman of Verkhovna Rada of Ukraine, Ruslan Stefanchuk, thanks the Union of Armenian of Ukraine for a significant contribution to countering the enemy, helping the civilian population and the armed forces of Ukraine. According to Sheikh Dr. Sultan bin Mohammed al-Qasimi, the city of Ras al-Khaimah was historically known as Julfar, which according to the Sheikh is an Armenian name and was founded by Armenians who fled Persia during the Mongol invasion. Armenian Christians fled from Persia to a place called Bagelabar, which is now located in Ras al-Khaimah and was founded by Armenians. Julfar was Armenian, not Arabic, so the Sheikh asked the educational authorities to change the information in the textbooks accordingly. The opening of the exhibition dedicated to the 800th anniversary of Khoranashat was announced with the opening of the exhibition entitled Khoranashat Manuscript Treasures in the museum building of Matenadara Naftu Mesrop Mashdod on May 11 to 29. Events dedicated to the 800th anniversary of Khoranashat Monastery Complex will be held in Yerevan and the Chinari community of Tavush region. The Holy Liturgy will be served in Khoranashat and a concert of the State Chamber Choir of Armenia will be held. On May 29th, the presentation of the book album Khoranashat 800 will take place, followed by the scientific conference dedicated to the 800th anniversary of the Scientific and Spiritual Center. Now musical part, Armenian spiritual music. Lilith Tonoyan, Այսօր Ձայն Հայրական. The full version of this video is available on Western Armenia's YouTube channel. This was all for today. Goodbye.